This Carolina Panthers preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. Bet $50 at WynnBET and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBET. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bets today. We're also brought to you by IPVanish. IPVanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off if you go to IPVanish.com/SGP. That's IPVanish.com/SGP. Make sure to check out our new Discord server, the perfect place to interact and sweat bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking that money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. No, I remember when Carolina was an expansion team, 1994 Madden, I believe it was, Sean.
Probably rocking our starter jackets back in the day, middle school.
Definitely over a friend's house because my hippie parents didn't have Super Nintendo.
Wouldn't allow. John Madden could not get penetration into the Kramer household.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Was not available at the local co-op, so not in my house.
If you're watching live on YouTube, which I recommend, youtube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast, you can hop in our chat. Of course, our chat is open 24/7 on our Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Get in there. We're going to have a lot of like cool Discord only stuff, being able to call in on the Discord. So you want to get into the Discord, get in now, get in early, get your handle, get some custom emojis going, do whatever the kids do. Discord's growing on me. At first I was like, this is stupid, but I'm enjoying the Discord. Good hang. And Ryan, this is our second show of the day. Double sessions. Unlike
2 days, baby.
Yeah, unlike the NFL Players Association, who's you can't have 2 practices in one day. We don't have 2 practices. We got 2 shows. We got 32 NFL teams to preview, and division previews, and final fantasy stuff, and some NFL player prop stuff. So much stuff that goes on, Ryan.
I think we were like, hey, is this is like Elon's trying to figure out how to launch a rocket into space and get it to land itself. We're trying to figure out how to get 32 team previews done. Turns out you got to start pretty early.
Yes.
And now I understand why these teams practiced 2 days back in the day. They had a lot to get in. They had a lot to cram. I'm gonna get a salt tablet and some water so I don't cramp up in the second half of this show. Ryan, summer heat is upon us. It's just asthma, right?
Yeah,
it's just asthma.
Doing the math, and the countdown to the Hall of Fame game is underway. Merely it was like 8 days away until we get to see that glorious pigskin flying through the air in Canton, Ohio. And hey, perfect time to get down on some action over at WynnBET. Of course, baseball still in the heat of summer there, heat of the season. WynnBET. If you shop around, you can literally not find any better price on MLB betting lines because the juice is reduced. You can't beat it. You're betting baseball every day. You got to do it over at WynnBET. And of course, get your chances to win the ultimate fantasy football experience for you and your entire league. Multiple entries are allowed. So get 12-team league, get 11 other guys. Everyone gets 4 or 5 entries. You're stacking the odds in your favor. And of course, bet 50, get $200 in free bets. That's really in your favor. You can get it all over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET, WYNNBET. All percentages change. Terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. Listen, 21 or older and present the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Kramer, we got the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, the biggest news: Baker Mayfield joining the team.
Is that the biggest news?
Oh, what's the biggest news for you?
Just going through my note. Phil Snow back for a second year at defensive coordinator. That's not
okay.
Okay.
That was also
Baker's great. I guess, right?
Well,
you're excited. I'd be excited.
I'm kind of excited because I think there are a couple games where he is going to get up, and I think Baker does the ideal scenario for Baker is good offensive line,
healthy,
a chip on his shoulder. He's personally healthy, and
not an actual chip out of his shoulder, but a chip on the shoulder.
A chip on the shoulder that is not deteriorating his throwing motion. So the chip on the shoulder, a solid offensive line, good running back support. I mean, that was a big reason why the Panthers were able to get into the playoffs, get that playoff victory, is having Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Now, does he have that all here in Carolina?
3-1 with a healthy C-Mac last year.
Yeah, and their defense started off really good. Their defense fell apart after 3 games when JC Horn, the rookie cornerback, again, very small sample size, but in those first 3 games, he looked really good. He kind of looked like he had passed the eye test. His success rate, yards per target and yards after catch allowed, would have led him in all cornerbacks if he qualified. Again, small sample size, but usually,
which makes it hard to believe because we know rookies, even the great ones, tend to not be great their first year.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, I would have predicted it would level out through the year, and he would have some
regression,
some not as good games. But I do think that's kind of also a really good sign. They also brought in CJ Henderson, the other cornerback, halfway through the season. Didn't have a great year, but I think maybe another full year, he's going to be in a better spot.
I don't have the note in front of me, but I believe Henderson is was the reason they were able to pluck him for a draft pick is he was all time bad. So maybe he'll bounce back to his draft pick form. But yeah, I mean, I think the other thing is Gilmore's out, right? That I hear you with Horn being a moment of optimism, but Gilmore, who was the leader of that group, the defensive backs, is no longer there. So.
Yeah, and I think the other Hassan Reddick, that is going to be
2 best players on the defense aren't there.
Yeah, Panthers improved from 12th to 2nd in ESPN's pass rush win rate last season, but now you have to replace Hassan Reddick, who was their leading pass rusher there.
Burns is still there; he's good.
Yeah, so they have some help there. Right now, PFF is grading their offensive line at 24th overall, which sounds about right. Although I think it has a little bit of a higher ceiling depending how things go. They brought in like a bunch of new starters because they were horrific last year. Aquanu, the report on him is good, but may not be like a plug and play guy, pass protecting.
Like not Evan Neal. Maybe they should have taken Evan Neal. Let's go. I mean, I think if I'm a Giants fan, which I am, I'm excited to hear the look. Aquanu he was always going to be a beast in the run game, but it's troubling to hear he might have some issues, like big issues in the pass game with the quarterbacks you're going to roll out there.
Yeah, and to me, I think we've already kind of hit on the negatives. I think the negatives are, like you said, they lost Hassan Reddick and Stephon Gilmore. Their offensive line, far from a finished product. I think they're skill players, pretty solid. I mean, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey. Again,
we love Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson. Not really sure where his head's at.
No, love DJ Moore.
Didn't seem to like Baker, but DJ Moore, again, quarterback proof. I think if they have a little bit better injury luck, and Baker's a big upgrade from Sam Darnold. Darnold we saw last year.
It's crazy to say. Look, Baker's a massive upgrade. Sam Darnold was stretching the limitations of, guys who have gotten so many starts and so many throws being so bad. And I think at this point, it's fair to say Sam Darnold's not going to be anyone's answer. And yes, you should be very excited because Baker's a huge upgrade, but what is he an upgrade to? Like, I think
he's an upgrade from what they were last year to an average team, and especially if you look at their schedule as far as strength of schedule via win totals, right there, middle,
right in the middle, same as last year.
Yeah,
I think all right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room though, because You've highlighted a lot of positives. Even last year, did we remember that this team was 3-0?
Yeah.
I mean, they played some bad teams, granted, but they started off well, like you said. The defense kind of went to shit after that start. But why are we convinced that Matt Rhule's capable of doing something right and getting it right? Why are we convinced that he's the answer? He keeps hiring his I don't see what he has done that makes us think he's an exciting coach that is going to be able to take this team over the top. This is a team that has now gone 4 straight seasons winning less than 30% of their close games. At some point, and only 2 of those years were Rhule, I get that. 9-27 over 4 years. That's crazy. I mean, this is a team that they were. Sean, would you believe it?
So you're saying massive regression coming for the Carolina Panthers?
I'm saying it's a bad coach. I'm saying coaching matters in close games. That was Exhibit A. Exhibit B. This team, Sean, it blew my mind to see this. The Carolina Panthers, the 5-12 Carolina Panthers, had a +9 point differential in the first half of games last year.
Yeah, they blew a lot of games.
Blew a lot. -103 in the second half. Specifically -76 in the third quarter. It's like bizarro New England, bizarro Kansas City, well-coached teams, right? You come out with your adjustments and you get that leg up. Bad coaches do bad coaching things. And then we didn't even mention the fact that they added Ben McAdoodle in the offseason.
You mean one of the best Giants coaches in the past decade?
I mean, you love Ben McAdoodle, so it's no surprise that you're high in this Carolina Panthers team. I mean, the one positive thing I can say about him is he effectively got the ball out of Eli Manning's hand faster than Eli Manning had done previously, which would help with a porous offensive line. And it would certainly help with a quarterback who tends to hold on to the ball and make mistakes like Baker. Baker is a wild animal.
Yeah.
I don't think
Baker I think has tons of variance, as does this Panthers team.
I'm gonna see you a variant and raise you 10 more. Because here's the problem: Ben McAdoodle, he shit all over Baker Mayfield coming out in 2018 in the draft process.
What better way to have a chip on your shoulder than being Baker Mayfield? Shout out to the YouTube chat. Mike Robb pointing out Kramer proving the top homer by
thank you
by mentioning his team less than 5 minutes in.
Appreciate it.
Trevor saying Zane Gonzalez will lose them games. Trust me, as a Cards fan.
Okay, I didn't even have a kicking take, but that I should have. That's good.
I mean, bad field goal kicker, can cost you some games. As we know, they and let's see. I'm looking up Zane's. Not a bad season for Zane last year. 20 out of 22. 90.9%. So
someone got burned personally on a little backdoor or something.
Well, coming off a 72% season for the Cards. So to his point, maybe he's saying if it comes down to a clutch spot, Zane will unravel, which I wouldn't be shocked of. Again, I just think if the injury luck evens out a little bit and you have the upgrade from not having Sam Darnold, I think that is they
were middle of the road injury luck last year. I mean, I guess it depends on how you're measuring it.
I think you're looking at like key players, Christian McCaffrey, JC Horn, stuff like that. Those guys have to stay healthy. And I think I think them slightly improving is what I'm looking at. But to your point, yeah, Matt Rhule in his last 2 years, you haven't seen anything. He really hasn't had a viable quarterback though. He really didn't help himself. If you remember this quote, which Football Outsiders dug up, this was an all-time for Matt Rhule quote. "I believe our rebuild is 1000% working. I just know no one else can see it. And I apologize. As I tell our team all the time, it took Jay-Z like 7 years. He had to start his own agency to become famous, to become an overnight sensation. It takes time, but I will finish by saying I respect the fight."
He's really out of touch.
Randomly comparing yourself to Jay-Z is pretty hilarious.
Under that right now, I don't think I must have glossed over that. That's an under. I disclosed this to you the other day, but I somehow passed over the Panthers and doing the prep for the bottom half of the league. I think coaching matters so much, and we saw how quickly the Jacksonville thing went badly. And I'm not suggesting that this will happen, but
wow, Ryan,
where's the adult in the room? Are we gonna have Ben McAdoo, interim head coach? Are we going to be calling Ben McAdoo a head coach this year?
No.
Really?
Ben McAdoo is never going to be a NFL head coach again. Yeah, and I just like
So when he gets
Brian,
fired, who's the head coach?
As a narrative guy, Baker with his chip on his shoulder is dangerous. He woke up feeling dangerous, right?
Yeah.
And I like fading the Baker hype. I like fading the Baker with, a million commercials on television. This is a renegade Baker. This is eastbound and down. Very much like Kenny Powers, who had to go to Carolina after
positive thing.
Yeah, he had some good years, and I don't know. I just like the energy. I like the swagger. And I think they've done enough. Again, I'm not super high on them, but I think getting them to 7 wins. And again, they had
no draft capital this year. They also had no money.
They had Aquanu. What are you talking about?
That was it. I'm just saying you can't get excited. I think it's very hard to get excited about the Panthers and not be a little bit excited about the Giants. I'm gonna call your bullshit right now. There's nothing the coach didn't change. Sure, Ben McAdoo showed up. The defense, nothing was changed there. They didn't really bring any players of note other than a run mauler on the offensive line.
Yeah. So you have your best player on offense, Christian McCaffrey, is
played
healthy.
10 games over the past 2 seasons.
Healthy
so
suddenly
suddenly we're saying things like healthy as of now. I'm just saying the case for optimism for the Panthers feels way more bleak than the Giants, the Lions. If
the Giants traded for Baker Mayfield, I probably would have given them the over.
So you've all of a sudden snap your fingers. You're a Baker guy now.
Baker when the chips are down. Baker when the whole world hates him. Baker when he has to prove himself. Baker when he doesn't have a debilitating shoulder injury. Yeah, I think we could see a 8-9 Panthers team. That's not crazy to me.
I mean,
Baker, unlike Baker 92 passing touchdowns. Daniel Jones nowhere near there.
That's fair. I would argue.
Baker scores touchdowns, so at a much higher rate than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I mean, Baker is going to be the thing that.
As Trevor's pointing out, the Panthers receiver core also noticeably better. I mean, you guys don't have than the Giants.
Name a receiver after Robbie Anderson.
DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm saying DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, is better than the Giants receivers.
That's 2 guys.
Okay. You want me to look up their third receiver?
I would argue Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard. Much more interest. Saquon Barkley out of the backfield.
Oh, come on, Ryan. You have Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield,
which is that I'd say that's equal to wash.
Wait, you have Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley equal
as pass catching options in space. Yeah, maybe McCaffrey with a slight edge, but it's very close. I'm just not seeing the clear case for optimism when Baker's issue has not been
Terrace Marshall.
Well, I know who Terrace Marshall is.
Oh, I forgot about him. This is why we're doing these episodes.
I just don't see
Tommy Tremble.
Yeah, exactly.
Live scrappy guy.
I'm not sure why we think Baker, a guy who has been volatile his whole career, is going to come to a situation that lacks stability and brings stability to it.
I don't think, again, you're acting like I'm saying they're going to the fucking Super Bowl. I think they can be slightly better than the 5-win team they were last year. I don't think their double-digit wins is not in the realm for the 2022 Carolina Panthers. Maybe, but highly unlikely.
No, I think, we'll get to this, but I think this.
You're hung up on that, comparing them to the.
No, I'm not. I'm hung up on comparing Matt Rhule to a Urban Meyer who can bite his tongue.
Okay, yeah, and I think the questions at head coach are.
We're going to be killing him when he's saying dumb shit like no one can see the rebuild at the end of this year when he's fired and out of his job. I think there's some, whether you want to say it's Urban Meyer or Joe Judge, I just think there's some bad coach vibes that clearly they weren't addressed in the off season. So I'm not sure what's going to change that. This team isn't going to suddenly be a good clutch team because Baker Mayfield showed up.
This was a very interesting nugget. Apparently Christian McCaffrey has the bougie room, his dorm room or wherever they're staying for training camp. Everyone kept pointing out how bougie he is. And this is
Stanford. He's a private school pussy.
This is Sam Darnold commenting on McCaffrey's room. Quote, I mean, he's got all the candles. He's got as many blankets as you could ever dream of, quarterback Sam Darnold said when describing McCaffrey's room. Quote, which I love, you know, it's great to have those things and do it in that way.
What is he? What?
You know who doesn't have candles in his room? Baker Mayfield. Just headbands, probably like a cassette player. Just going to be ripping heaters, doing pull-ups, and just getting ready for the season.
Matt Rhule, 3-1, first coach to be fired.
Mike Robbit pointing out in the YouTube chat that Kramer knows a bad coach when he sees one. So
thank you.
Possibly the expert on it. All right, we're gonna get to the schedule. Before we do that, shout out IP Vanish. That's where you won't go when you want to lock up your internet traffic, your internet data, whatever you got on your computer, whatever you're doing on the internet. You don't want anyone getting a hold of those passwords, information, browsing history. So much sensitive data. You know what we're talking about, is out there, and you want it locked up. IP Vanish helps you get that done. You can hide your location. We use IP Vanish for God's Eye. Great for streaming. You can use it on Fire Stick, and again, unlimited devices. So your laptop, cell phone, kid's phone, whatever it is, you can really lock things down and make it way, way safer. Completely encrypt your internet activity, and 30-day money back guarantee, which for some reason you don't like it. I know you will. 70% off their annual plan. All you got to do, go to ipvanish.com/SGP, ipvanish.com/SGP. Mike Robb saying porn, right? You're talking about porn. Hey, Mike, whatever you do with your internet is it's completely your business. And it's going to stay that way because I know you, Mike. You're going to be using IP Vanish. All right, Panthers 2020. They were 5-11 straight up, 9-7 against the spread. I was really high on them in 2020. Thought they could surprise some people. They did cover a bunch of spreads. 2021, disappointing, 5-12, and also 5-12 against the spread. So I think people were out on them. Their win total was 7.5. Hit the under there at -130. How did we do on the Panthers, Ryan? I feel like I was probably higher than most, but I feel like we turned on Sam Darnold pretty early.
So we both thought they were going to be 9-8. And so we were high on this team. Yeah. We were into the experience of Matt Rhule. Even it should bring more weight to me turning my shoulder to him and saying, no, I will not help you. You will die. Our against the spread record.
What a strong take.
Yeah, it's desert living. I went 10-7. You 11-6 against the spread. To your point, we got hot. I think we probably were 500.
Yeah.
And at some point we went on a bit of a heater. This team was. I mean, again, you can chalk up close defeat and almost being there as bad coaching, or poor execution, or both, or just unluckiness. And I know we tend to look at it and say this will regress, but I do think Matt Rhule has something like he is not innocent here. I think you can't have it. That's crazy to be that bad, a 5-win team, and have a positive point differential in the first half of games. That's insane. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
No.
We were
really
good.
You're really good, mad at him.
We were good picking him. we were good picking him last year.
No,
so. And honestly, we probably were betting them a little bit live too, because they were this team that was just shitting the bed gloriously.
Yeah, no, they were. I know the Eagles came back on them. Yeah, they had a bunch of.
Was it the execution of the players or was it the coach? Because for some reason, do you ever sit down and think, why is Matt Rhule getting a third year? Christian McCaffrey injuries.
I think it's because he hasn't had a quarterback,
and yet they keep getting rid of. I
think to evaluate, the Panthers were trying to get Russell Wilson. They were in on trying to get Deshaun Watson.
Fail.
I think the owner knows he needs a top tier quarterback to compete in the league. So I think he's giving him the benefit of the doubt on that. But I think to your point, I definitely think he's on the hot seat.
Well, yeah. At what point?
And I think that's why they're going to probably win 7 games, because he knows he's going to lose his job if he loses 5 games or wins 5 games.
And honestly, like for a franchise where people are like, "Whoa, Sam Darnold, what a smart move." it does seem like at some point buying, fixer uppers is going to leave you with a problem.
Yeah,
because you are giving away draft capital.
That Darnold trade was, really, really bad. I mean,
but this was a smart franchise a couple years ago. Analytics, smart owner, Matt Rhule, like they were like. So I guess it just seems like this strange juxtaposition of why are we still in on Matt Rhule being a smart guy?
I don't know that we are.
I'm definitely not. Should we go through the schedule?
No,
Are we prepared to go through the schedule? Because you might not like what you're about to find out, Sean.
Okay.
First four.
Yep.
Cleveland, of course. The Baker. What do we come up with a good name for this? Back to the kitchen.
Baker Bayou. No, what's like a good Carolina? Oh, the Baker barbecue where he roasts his former team, the Cleveland Browns.
Nothing.
We need to get a Photoshop of like Baker in an apron with some Carolina barbecue. It's gonna feast on the Browns.
Nothing would delight the NFL more than Jacoby Brissett or Jimmy G defeating Baker Mayfield as Deshaun Watson watches in suspension.
Yeah, what's gonna happen with Jimmy G?
He's gonna be on the Browns. All right, so Cleveland at home, at New York Giants, Saints at home, Arizona at home. You never want to see Arizona early in the season. You know that.
No, but DeAndre Hopkins will still be out though.
I'm not putting as much stock in DeAndre Hopkins meaning that much for this team.
Okay, because I think
I know you are. So
the Kyler Murray with and without passing splits are insane. And you saw those games. He lost at Detroit.
Yeah, and I'm saying that he's not going to be on the PEDs anymore. So whatever he was doing to cheat, the NFL got mad. They said no more. You're getting suspended. He's going to come back. He's going to be a shell of the person he was. He was never a speed guy. He was always a get open.
So you're saying you'll think they'll be good regardless of DeAndre
I'm saying the drop to without DeAndre Hopkins. It's not this massive fall off. And I think more is the benefit of, not to go too deep in Arizona. Obviously, Kingsbury and Murray are good early in the season when everything is roses and butterflies and they're healthy. And the scheme the adjustments to the scheme have not been picked up on yet. That's my general opinion on Arizona. So yeah, I think you're better off facing them late than early. So those are the first four. 3 home games: Cleveland at Giants, Saints and Cardinals both at home. I think the Saints to me is that's a win. I think I want to say they beat the Saints early in the season last year too. I just think with the new coaching staff and the turmoil, while I'm kind of down on Carolina, I do think that's going to be a game. You know what?
The other reason why I'm slightly higher than the Panthers were on last year. I don't know how I blanked on this. Do you remember how many games Cam Newton started for them? He started 5 fucking games. Are you kidding me? Baker Mayfield. You remember Cam Newton? What was our record picking them? 11-6.
We were just
because it was
Cam
like
Newton.
Fuck Cam Newton. He's completely cooked. Oh man, now I'm completely in on the over now. Completely. All right. So what did you have them? You have
I was talking through the fact that I think it's
forgot 5 games. I didn't remember it being that many.
I think much like last year, they have to start fast.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of thinking they will start fast, in the spirit of thinking that I do think that I'm going to want to have Baker against Cleveland in that spot, I think this is a 2-2 start for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be somewhat more conservative, but I think 3-1 is in the realm of possibilities. But I'll keep it conservative. I'll say 2-2.
I think to me too, like it. I know there's reasons to think the defense could be okay, but the defense could also take a massive step back.
No, I mean Gilmore and Reddick being out could be massive for them.
But if that happens, this becomes an interesting situation where
I think JC Horn is a difference maker in that defense.
Do you believe they can play and win shootouts? That's the question. And I don't know how many shootouts they're going to be in these first 4 games. I think Baker can win a shootout or 2. I think he's high variance enough to win a shootout or 2. I don't know if they're going to try to play a shootout, but in some ways, I think the best version of Baker is to let him have his 4 interception games, because that will bring you some 3 touchdown games.
You know what? Maybe I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 to start. because I'm just looking at these.
Imagine a world where Carolina starts 3-1.
Well, they started 3-0 last year.
Did you give out the win total? It's 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Plus 105 on the over, minus 125 on the under. 10-1 to win the South. 50-1 to win the conference. 125-1 to win the Super Bowl. 340 is the make the playoffs. Minus 455 is the miss. That almost feels like a deal. We really do need to get into the just finding loads of cash to put on these chalky favorites. All right, so first four we're through. Next up, San Francisco at home. At
Trey Lance on the road.
At Rams, Bucks at home, at Falcons. This is a tough stretch to me, and I'm with you. I think we could be talking good things about this team when they beat the Niners potentially, but then I think they lose the next three. I'm going to go 1-3.
Yeah, man.
Again, you're lower, I think, on the Falcons than I am.
Yeah.
So I'm not. So I'm at 3-3 or 3-5 right now.
I'll go 1-3 because I think they either beat
That's
the
a tough stretch.
I think they either beat the 49ers or the Falcons.
Then we have at Cincy, Atlanta again at home, at Baltimore, Denver at home. These games are getting tricky, and I think.
I think they're gonna at least split with the Falcons. They could win both those. Would not be shocked. And
well, yeah, maybe.
That's also a Thursday night game at home against a division opponent. That's a great spot for them.
Yeah, I think I give them that win. I think they definitely lose the road.
Games.
At
Cincy, at Baltimore are really tough.
And I think the Denver game, if their back end is not holding up to plan, that could look. If Russ can do one thing, he can throw the deep.
It's also
ball.
it's a non-conference road spot for the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you look a lot. That's they. I'm going
to say 2 wins.
2-2. You want to be conservative?
Well, I think they. Yeah, I think 2-2 is fair.
Okay, yeah. Man, I don't.
1-3 is fine. 1-3 is realistic too.
I think I got to go 1-3, and I think I
would think they definitely win one of their home games. I'm going to give them 2 though.
And I think now we're worried. We're worried about Matt Rhule's job. All right, next up at Seattle, Pittsburgh, Detroit, both at home. At Tampa, boy, again, maybe is it too little, too late? Do they get 2 wins here? I think I'll go 2-2. I think maybe McCaffrey comes back from his injury. They
got that damn field turf. I'll go 2-2.
And then the last game is at New Orleans, which
grade that a loss.
I think I'm just having Carolina split their division games.
Although I think I have them essentially losing to both Bucks games.
Oh, you're right. I do. I have them going 2-4 in the division, which seems right. They'll split with Atlanta. So yeah, I mean, I'm at 6. Yeah, 6-11. You're at 7.
7-10. 7-10 feels right for this Carolina Panthers team. And again, it's not like we'll do our NFL win total locks episode, where we pick our favorite NFL win totals, Ryan, of these. I don't think the Panthers would make it as far as like of the win totals. I like this one the best, but to your point, I think came in pretty salty and still got them to 6 wins, right?
I felt like I was trying, like I wanted them to have a quick start. I gave them a 2-2 start to make sure I wasn't too down on them.
Yeah.
I think their floor is their floor.
They have a low floor. And people are trying to make a case for them to maybe be like a sneaky team to win the division, or I don't know, like any of the positive Carolina future stuff. I know you're out on the Panthers, Ryan, but I'm almost interested. If you had to bet a positive Carolina future bet, what would it be? To me, I'm still giving out.
What's the division? What did we just say? The division 10-1.
Yeah.
So that's in the similar. All right. So comping it to other similar division winners, Giants are 9-1, Lions are 10-1, Panthers 10-1, and Jags are 8-1, and Steelers are 10-1.
So I would rather have the Steelers 100%. And maybe the Jags, but again, I think our Texans one is way better.
Just viewing it, so I get it from the perspective of okay, this, there's a lot of comps to the AFC South. I get it. I don't think. I mean, the Bucks are there, so the chance of them actually winning the division is probably not 10-1. Like maybe them to make the playoffs is the more interesting play, and I probably like a number of those teams better at 10-1. So for that reason, maybe I don't look there. Matt Rhule being the first coach to be fired is not a positive way to play the team. Is that what you're saying?
Well, and I gave out Christian McCaffrey comeback player of the year earlier on when we were doing those futures episodes. Yeah. Although, no, I actually think that now that Baker's on the team, it kind of hurts them.
Well, they're
going to eat away at their comeback player of the year values.
No,
right. I mean, because if I think Carolina has
Christian
to win
McCaffrey
some games for them to give Baker comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
I think McCaffrey could have a good year statistically, win people some fantasy leagues, and he could win comeback player of the year.
McCaffrey could put up video game numbers. Yeah. That's the difference. I don't think Baker's ever going to be throwing for 4 touchdowns a week.
No, but I think the storyline with Baker, again, he has the same
story of redemption.
He has the same odds as Deshaun Watson,
which is pretty funny.
Michael Thomas at 8-1, Daniel Jones at 8-1. Those are all really bad bets in my opinion. Well, right. I don't think
you have to admit that Daniel. If things go right, it's a much easier narrative than Baker Mayfield.
No. Baker Mayfield was played through injury. They didn't just randomly bench him.
Dan Jones just started walking again, Sean.
Yeah, he got him out of the chair.
You're blind. Carolina Panthers fewest wins, 12-1.
Ryan, while we're
no thoughts on that.
Fewest wins on what?
12-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's enough of a floor there. We're talking about Baker, but what about our good buddy Dave? That's right. You ever been scraping the bottom of the barrel? Just a little tight on cash. Maybe the card's maxed out. Maybe work construction, roofing, business is really slow. Housing market's down. Plenty of reasons why you might be a little tight on cash. And hey, don't beat yourself up. Don't get stressed out. Dave is the banking app that can help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. That's more money to fill your tank, buy a wedding gift, or catch up on your bills. You can finally tackle those expenses that have been stressing you out without any hangups. No interest and no credit check needed. Millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app to get the financial relief they need with extra cash. So if you're in a pinch and need some extra help, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. Download the Dave app from the App Store right now. That's DAVE. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees applies. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Yeah, I see your point. I think I would take Matt Rhule, first coach fired, before I would take fewest wins.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say Matt Rhule, first coach fired I'll throw that out as a play.
Okay. See, I mean, I'm just going to give out Christian McCaffrey. It's comeback player of the year at 750. There's none of these other futures are that interesting. Like even the alternate win totals, I think the line here for them is relatively on pace with how I see them going.
Couple areas. I figured I was also struggling to find ways to play the Panthers. Hence why we're on Rhule, first coach to be fired. All right. Panthers division wins over under 2.5. Under is -140. Over is plus 110. -140 is not scaring me away. I don't. To your point, I think the Bucks beat them twice. Starting from that position.
Okay.
Can they go 3-1 against the Saints and the Falcons? That would be a shocking result to me. I think under 2.5 division wins is another one way we're going to play it. I almost like it better than under 6.5 wins on the season. If I'm being honest, I think they could go.
Ryan,
they could go 2-4 in the division and go over 6.5.
All right, let's talk this out. This is a SGP brainstorm. Are you better off taking the under on them for their division games, or looking to that maybe exact price market, them to finish 4th in the division, them to finish 3rd in the division?
Let's see if we can pull that.
Like what's a better price on that?
Well, I mean, let's see. We can just say if we pull up Panthers, what would you you want Panthers exact finishing position?
No, I'm just
Or you want like one of the trifectas?
It's more your call. We haven't talked about the other teams yet, but would you rather take them under on the division wins, or if they're going to be under 2.5 division wins, they're probably going to be in 3rd or 4th place? Is there more value on them to finish 3rd or 4th playing that exact result, or those 2 results, or is it division wins?
All right. So for them to finish 3rd is plus 165. 4th is plus 180. So you play both of those, you're sitting right around similar price, maybe slightly better actually. I think if I was looking to, I think you can finish. I think this is a cluster after the Bucks. I think the variance in this division is really about 2nd place. So I'd rather not muck it up with an accidental 2nd place finish, even if you go 2-4 in the division, because I do think
that's a tough needle to thread. But
I don't know if it is. We went through a schedule, and the majority of the wins were not wins in the division. We gave them 2. We both gave them 2 wins.
Okay, yeah.
And I think you still got over their win total. Period. And so, could they be a 7-win team in 2nd place in that division?
Maybe.
Absolutely.
Because I'm super
where they
low.
Split with the Falcons and the Saints.
I'm super low on the Falcons. But
do you think they're going to sweep the Falcons? Probably not.
No, I mean their division games.
That's my point. So I think we're back at that. I don't know if I want to mess around with putting division finishing order.
Yeah, no, it was more a handicapping exercise.
No, but I also think the way we get all these bets now, you got to do stuff like this because it is taking 165 and 180. Like is putting 2 units on that. Is the return going to be better than a minus 140 bet?
Slightly. Yeah. Right. Wouldn't the
yeah, but then I get screwed if it's in 2nd. So I'd rather just keep it simple, right? Like I'd rather avoid that random bit of variance that if it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen in this NFC South. And yeah, I definitely like their chances to win non-divisional games more than I do. I don't think they win a divisional road game, and so I think it's hard to go. That means you're beating the Bucks.
No, I mean they won divisional road games last year.
Yeah. Just did they beat the Falcons on the road last year?
Yes, they were 2-4.
And they went 2-4 last year.
Yeah, in the division. So again, maybe I don't know. I still think 7-10 is the right call. It's not enough for me. I'm not high enough on them to play them to win the division or even get cute and say make playoffs. I'm with you. Like I still think Rhule has a ton of question marks, but I think Baker not only over Sam Darnold, but those 5 games against Cam Newton, Ryan. I don't know how I forgot about that or didn't factor that in. That's why we got to 11-6 ATS with the Panthers.
In a way,
I don't think he covered any of those games.
In a way, that would be perfect, right? Baker leads them to 9-8 or whatever you had, and they don't get a good draft pick, and they're stuck with more Baker. I mean, what do they do next year? They re-sign Baker?
They're in a weird spot. I mean, I think they're just rolling the dice, and maybe we're crazy by just giving Baker the starting job. Like supposedly it's going to be a camp battle.
I have that,
and if Matt Rhule. I want to put a asterisk on this win total. If Matt Rhule starts Sam Darnold over Baker Mayfield, then just burn this entire episode. Bad
coaching leads to bad decisions, and the fact that Ben McAdoo didn't like Baker Mayfield, and he's also said competition. That's probably not good for not getting all the reps. Not good for learning a new system, right? And if you remember, like they were changing the way.
Baker's not a guy who learns systems, right?
That's the problem.
He's a guy who runs around and throws the ball. And
McAdoo made Eli change the way he stepped. You think Baker's going to be able to get shit like that down? Baker needs a 4 hours of independent study clause in his contract.
He's going to be living at the stadium, Ryan.
I mean, I don't want to be bullish on this team because I think the ceiling. What did you predict again? 7 wins.
Yeah.
What's the ceiling for this team? 8 wins?
9. I think.
What's the floor? 0? 1.
No,
They'll beat Cleveland. They'll get 1.
4. I mean, there's some winnable games in there. Again, the more I think about it, they might be able to beat Atlanta twice. But I think 7-10's right for the Panthers, man.
Panthers lowest scoring team is 13-1.
That's total points.
Yeah.
Mm.
What if they're really fucking bad? Like Sam Darnold is potentially their quarterback.
Yeah, no, they're gonna roll with Baker. They'll be all right.
But Baker gets hurt, and then it's Sam Darnold.
Well, then they're screwed.
Sean, you have to include the backup quarterback in the evaluation process.
That's true, and I think Matt Corral is going to be the backup quarterback. I think they figure out a way to get Sam Darnold out of there, and maybe Matt Corral gets in there, really shows them how to do it.
Are you
some read? Here's what I would say:
RPO.
McAdoodle
doesn't do RPO.
Ben McAdoo's got to learn some shit.
Well, why hire Ben McAdoo?
That's a great point.
We didn't talk enough about this because you're delighted by the fact that he had success with the Giants.
No, he's the best,
he created the boat trip.
Best coach the Giants have had in a decade.
We didn't even bring it up. He's tied to the boat trip. This team is doomed. He was there. It's like that. What was that? Scared.
What?
The killer movie with the mask from when we were younger?
Scream. Oh my God, Ryan, you sound like a freaking boomer. Scared.
So yeah, you're not officially taking the over, are you?
Yeah, no.
We have to take a play. We have to take a play. Got
over 6.5. Lock it up. McCaffrey, comeback player of the year at 750.
Got you down for that.
That's the only thing that's really interesting to me, because like the high variance stuff. They're going to be just an average team, which is a slight upgrade from last year. I wish I had a hotter take on this Panthers team.
The ceiling is average, Sean. You're going to be sad when Matt Rhule really sucks, and you're going to realize, like, God damn it, I spent 45 minutes on tape talking about how good Baker Mayfield is going to be.
I didn't say you 7-10. You act like I have him going to the Hall of Fame. 7-10, and I'm Ryan, you're just in your feelings about the state of the New York Giants.
A little bit.
Why aren't they talking about Dable and what he's doing? He's bringing a new system. It's a new thing. Why are they not higher on him?
Dan Jones.
Dan Jones.
Hard body.
21 passing touchdowns in 2 years. So it's different now. Okay.
No one is crying. No one's crying.
Different.
No one's getting emotional.
Still real to me.
I did apologize. Check out the Giants episode.
Will the Carolina Panthers, assuming Baker starts week 1, be on our circa contest, circa millions?
Oh man, that's a great question. I
know you're going to be rooting for him.
I think the card is probably starting with that penciled. It's so chalky though, right?
Is it? I feel like there's plenty of Baker hate floating around right now. I mean, again, there's so many variables.
In the circa sharp seas, maybe being chalky and public leaning is the way to go.
Well, and again, obviously they still haven't announced the Deshaun Watson suspension. So,
and we don't know who's starting because there's a open quarterback competition in Carolina.
A lot to be figured out between now and the kickoff of the NFL season. Hey, wow. Check out this sweet coffee mug I got. You know where I got that, Ryan? Over at store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. You can buy one or you can win one for free. That's all you got to do is leave a review on Apple Podcasts, write it out, take a screenshot, and then in the SGPN app, click the contest tab. Can't miss it there. Submit it. The review's free. The prize is free. Giving away free gear, shirts or mugs every Monday, aka Merch Monday.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He is Ryan.
Best wishes to Baker Mayfield, I guess.
Kramer, let it ride.